Okay, so I want to comment on this Sargon of Akkad tweet thing. If you're not aware, he's being accused of doxing somebody. I'll tell you what happened as I know it. I haven't seen the picture because the tweet is gone. But what had happened was he'd gone in a shop. There was a woman there, I think, wearing a sweatshirt or a t-shirt with feminist on it, who worked there. He took a picture. He then tweeted the picture with the name of the shop and the town on it. As a result of that, apparently, it is reported that some people have approached her and, you know, shouted something on abuse at her or whatever, or given her a bit of chelp, a bit of stick, a bit of sarcasm or whatever. She's again reportedly called the police or something, got them involved. I don't know how much of that is true, but it sounds a sorry state of affairs. So that's what's happened. He's took the tweet down now. Sean Head had tweeted something along those lines to him. Maybe it wasn't a very good idea. And he tweeted back, oh, I hadn't realised that was going to happen, blah, 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 and took the tweet down. And there's been quite a big response. I'm looking at a Kevin Logan video now, one of several videos I've seen, all making the same kind of, oh, nobody's going to have a go at him for this. He'll get away with it because of the side he's on. And here's a Christy Winters comment. Let's see all the videos from anti-justice types condemning Carl and calling on people to shun him. Oh wait, they will most say nothing because they are hypocrites. So just a comment, I suppose, on that comment, because that sums up a lot of the things. I mean, I don't know what anti-justice types are. I'm assuming she's thinking like the Penguin from Batman or something like that. So I don't really know what those kind of people will do. Or the Riddler, perhaps. I don't know what they will be doing. But from my perspective, I think it's worthy of condemnation, what he does, what he said, what he did, sorry. Not for posting the picture, but for posting those details with it. And I suspect that Sargon of Akkad would agree himself that actually what he did was he fucked up somewhat there in doing that. Posting the picture fine, but he shouldn't have posted those details with it. On a technical point of view, is it doxing? We can argue all day long about what's doxing and what isn't. I don't really think it actually matters, actually, whether it classes as doxing or not. But for me, doxing ties in a couple of identities. It's releasing personal information, but it has to be in a slightly different sphere. You know, if I just tell you there's a guy called Bollock Nose who posts on this forum and he said this, well, that isn't doxing, is it? Because that's like that one piece of information. You could go and then berate Bollock Nose for what he'd said, couldn't you? But that's not really doxing. And the same thing here. This woman works in this shop, and it's not tying it into a home address or even perversely tying it into an online identity. If he said this woman who works in the shop has this online identity, then that would obviously be what we regard as doxing. So I just don't think posting that one thing, otherwise so many things we see on the news would class as doxing. But the fact that it isn't doxing, I wouldn't class that as doxing, doesn't really make any difference to the substance of it, which is that she has suffered, if she has suffered online and real life encounters, you know, people actually approaching her and giving her grief as a result of this, then that's a terrible thing to happen. And by putting that information, Carl ran that risk on her behalf, and he shouldn't have done that. So he's certainly worthy of condemnation. Would I call on people to shun him? You know, I think you've got to take into account intent there. And again, this is something when you're regarding what's doxing. Doxing to me is kind of a personal malicious act where you see someone and you think, I'm going to give personal information about them deliberately, and I'm not really sure that that is what he intended to do. I don't think he had any personal agenda with this woman. He was making the point of what she had on and the fact that she was an employee in this shop, and presumably should employees have sort of socio-political slogans on their clothes. I don't think it was a person. I don't think he held a grudge over some weeks and this was her revenge, which is kind of the sphere we'd see doxing in. So I don't really think shunning, I think that's a little bit over the top. I mean, there's a fairly few times in the 8 years that I've been on YouTube, 9 years I've been on YouTube now, where I've suggested we actually shun somebody. If we're going to shun somebody over this, there's not going to be many people left who don't get shunned, I would suggest. But yeah, what he did is out of order. I've had a look on his channel. I haven't seen a video from him yet on any of his channels saying, this is what I did. And yeah, I fucked up on that. If I'd thought about that a bit more, I wouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. It would be nice if that happened, I think. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, that's all that I wanted to say on it there. So I've said something, even if the fucking Penguin and the Joker and the Riddler haven't. Okay, switch the fucking thing off.